Okay, everybody, it is 12 o'clock on day three. We have another great presentation for you from Jonathan Braun, who handles the commercial division works with the commercial division of Samsung. So we're going to go over Samsung Business Solutions displays for your commercial applications. Really glad to have Jonathan here. I believe Jonathan did our Roadshow last year, so you're a pro now with the virtual Roadshow. Again, really appreciate everybody being here. Go ahead and ask questions if you have any. We're going to be raffling off, I believe, a Samsung sound tower. So go ahead and ask questions, and we'll get those answered. Probably going to stop this about 45 minutes after the hour, and we'll get those questions answered for you. We'll pick a winner. But without further ado, Jonathan, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. I'm not going to make a "we need a bigger display" joke to go with Captain Quint over there, but
you got it.
A lot of really.
I was waiting for
See, thank you. I caught it immediately.
Yeah.
So we've got a really cool roundup of Samsung's commercial displays for everybody. This is going to be as of basically October. I'm going to give you some sneak previews of some other commercial display products that are going to be coming out later this year and earlier next year as well. But I'm not putting those in writing because I'm not quite supposed to share yet. I won't tell Samsung if you don't. So we're going to go through just a complete line overview for everybody, hit the highlights of what makes Samsung different. I always like to start, and if you saw my presentation last year, this is going to look real familiar, with a quick overview of everything commercial Samsung does. That's a lot. Yes, we're going to talk about all of these. I know, it's crazy. So Samsung has everything from a very limited line of 8K displays on the commercial side. That's changing for next year. A whole group of standalone displays, a whole line of interactive products, including kiosks. We've got our Pro TV products. There's been a lot of changes in those in the last 12 months, so I'm looking forward to sharing that, give you a couple of sneak previews of things that are coming next year as well. And then our video wall, specialty, and outdoor display products. So we have a lot of really, really great stuff to share with you. But what I personally like to start with is just a core line review. When we're getting past the business TV products, what do we end up recommending and speccing? And it really comes down to what we all kind of collectively call our Q series: QE, QB, QM, QH. There's going to be a lot of letters in this, folks. That'll be on the quiz at the end of the call. No, I'm just kidding. But sorry, I'm going to try and demystify Samsung speak. We very frequently need subtitles for all the things that we say internally. So I'm going to try and get this into normal human for everybody. So the QE, QB, QM, QH, our Q series, these four are our standalone displays. You'll sometimes hear them called smart signage, although they're not just used for signage. And they go from very basic with the QE, very limited onboard processing, not super bright, landscape only, basic capabilities. If you need a dumb TV, we want to go the opposite of smart TV. You need a dumb TV, and you just need HDMI inputs and a decent picture. They're super popular for like conference rooms and things like that. Those are great. The QB, QM, and QH are virtually identical, and then brightness and duty cycle, as you see there. And those are your kind of core displays. The QBs are our most popular, although if you do happen to go into, and I'm not judging anybody's fast food preference, if you happen to go into and order a sandwich somewhere, if it's a digital menu board, chances are it's one of our QM series, particularly the QM55. Those are super, super popular. The QH are a little bit brighter. Won't use those very often, but if you get into a situation with higher ambient light, or the QM and the QH are both anti-reflective, so those can be helpful. This is your core lineup, and I want to kind of dig a little deeper into all the different products here. So we're going to do a quick review of each series. I'm going to give you the highlights. I'm not covering every single speed and feed. One, we'd be here for 4 hours. We don't have that kind of time. Two, that's boring as all heck, and I'm not doing that to everybody. Just not. If you need information, we have spec sheets for every single one of these that covers everything, although you may have to convert from millimeters to inches if you want them in standard units. We've got all the information you could possibly need. We'll talk about where you can go to get that at the end of the presentation. I do have to give a shout out to our totally underappreciated, because 8K really isn't a thing in commercial 8K product. Everybody here is likely already familiar with our consumer 8K TVs. That's just what this is, with a new power supply so it can run 16 hours a day. I mean, that's really what it is. We only have the 85-inch. This is actually a version of last year's 8K set. We've not done a refresh on the commercial one. It's got the One Connect. Everybody knows the specs for these guys, so I'm not going to belabor that point. This just has our commercial software. So one thing that I am going to mention that's different about almost all of our commercial displays, I'll point out the couple that don't have this. We use the system on chip, or SoC, inside the displays differently for commercial than we do for consumer. Consumer, we've got all our smart apps, we've got screen mirroring, we've got the browser, we've got all those features that everybody's used to seeing, Samsung TV Plus and other things. Commercial, totally different build. No app store, no smart apps. There is a web browser. There is still screen mirroring. We do have Miracast. We do not have AirPlay on almost all of our commercial sets, just as a heads up, but we do have Miracast. So Windows, Android screen mirroring is native. That's an Apple licensing thing. That's not a Samsung decision. And the other primary use we have for these is digital signage. So you're going to see SSSP, Samsung Smart Signage Platform, listed as a feature. This means that not only can it run our VXT CMS, which I'll talk a brief bit about later on, but it can also run about 36 other partner CMS products. So this gives you the ability to turn these into digital signage without needing an additional media player. And that's been a very important feature of our commercial lineup for, well, when we introduced that, 2012. So the last 12 years, this has been a major part of our commercial lineup. So I'm not going to go over that again. Almost every series has it. I'll point out where we don't. So our 8K sets, we only have the 85-inch left. We used to have a 65, 75. There will be a refresh next year where we'll get, what are we getting? 55, 65, 75, 85, 98. So we'll have a much broader 8K portfolio in the commercial line about February to March-ish, so end of Q1 next year. All right. This is one of our most popular sets. So you may be familiar with our business TV concept. We started this a few years ago when we took one of the TU7000 consumer sets, slapped a commercial grade power supply on it, gave it a little bit better cooling, and, well, basically kind of limited the app store and gave it basic digital signage using what Samsung calls the business TV app. We launched that similar to a consumer price point. These things sold like crazy. We've gone through 3 generations of that. So last year we had the BEC-H. This year we have the BED-H. Gee, does that sound like a DU7000? Because it is. But what we've done with this is a lot of internal upgrades. So 43 all the way up to 85-inch. There is a 98-inch launching before the end of the year also. These are our lowest cost commercial options. But the important thing, 300 nits now. So we beefed up the brightness from the standard units. So that's going to more directly compete with more deluxe commercial products. And they have a full digital signage CMS, not just the little basic business TV app. They can now run VXT. That is a huge thing. When you have a customer who's cost conscious, they want digital signage. They don't care if it's landscape only. They don't care if it's the brightest thing in the world. These are perfect for that because we can pair that up with that VXT software. But that's a whole nother webinar. Also, something to keep in mind, this right here is the only regular commercial display that has a TV tuner integrated. In general, that's not a requirement in most commercial applications. In fact, a lot of end users don't want that in their commercial screens. So this is our only series that has them. Other notable thing, other than that 8K panel, this is the only series that comes with table stands. We've taken those out of the box for most of the other commercial applications. And frankly, almost everybody wall mounts them and tosses those anyway, so why contribute to the e-waste problem? The QE, you'll notice, by the way, they look really similar. The main difference with the QE anymore, doesn't have the tuner, has a little bit of a different system on chip, so it doesn't run the business TV app. It can still use VXT. It can also do Magic Info, but that's going end of life, so that's not a big discussion. Doesn't come with the table feet. This is when somebody says, I want a non-smart TV, this is your animal. It is the dumbest display that Samsung makes. It's the closest thing to a traditional desktop monitor in a large format, 43 all the way up to 85. Now, we do have a QE in a 98. These things are priced incredibly attractive for somebody who wants a big display. This is a great alternative for that person who says, I want a 2x2 video wall. And then they freak when they find out that 1, it's going to have bezels, and 2, what the price tag is. So this is an ideal display for that. This is closer to that BED in terms of its software and features. It can run. The other thing, by the way, I almost missed it with the QE. The other big differentiator, no Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth. So that's better for a lot of government applications. The QE98C, this does have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So it does have basic screen mirroring via Miracast. little bit brighter than the other QEs. This guy's 450 nits, and it can do portrait mode. So this is a very flexible display. Does come with that little single pod stand, although I'm a little frightened every time I see a 98-inch screen perched on top of one of those. It's super light, so I guess it works, but really fantastic solution. We added this to the lineup in June. The mainstream displays, QB, QM, QH. They're all going to be identical. I'll talk about some of the important features that set these apart from something like the BE, QE in a second, but you're going to have 43 all the way up to 85 in the QB. These are going to be 350 nits, landscape and portrait, symmetrical bezels, and they're about an inch thick. So they're incredibly thin, but we'll get into some of those other features. Full built-in system on chip, full version of VXT. These are our bread and butter digital signage displays. When somebody needs something a little more specialized, we do have a non-network model for government applications, the -N. I get this email a lot. What's the difference between a QB55C and a QB55C-N? We clipped out the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on the -N model. Otherwise, they're identical. And we do have these in a few key sizes. These were specifically built for government, and before anybody panics, they're lower availability because we don't sell as much, and they do cost more. Yes, it costs more to remove the Wi-Fi. This is a specialty built item, so don't be shocked if that comes across and you need it. But frankly, if you need it, you know why you do, and that's going to make a little more sense. All of these are IP5X rated for dust, and they have a bunch of other cool features we're going to cover in a second. QM, what upgrades from a QB? 24/7, 500 nits, anti-glare. Depending on how Ring Central is cropping my camera, that is a QM55C hanging on the wall behind me. So you can already tell, yes, there is still some glare. It's a 47% haze, but it's dramatically better than what a normal set would do. The QH, moving up to our final level in the core displays. These guys just happen to be, oh, and by the way, we did add, one more back, we did add a 98 for the QM. So you have 32 to 98 there. QH, we finally have a 98 in a QH. We've never had one of those before. So 43 all the way up to 98. These are 700 nit versions of the QM. So they're just brighter. That's it. They're identical. So if anybody asks me for a drawing, I'll send you one. It's for all three of the same size. They're all physically identical, internally identical, same sets of inputs and everything. They have screen mirroring, the browser, the full signage player, so all the goodies. So some things that changed from last year to this year with the chassis. One, I already mentioned, the depth. We have dropped them by 40%. You are now looking at, for a 55-inch display, just over an inch thick. Super important for ADA compliance, super important for aesthetics. We've also added the no gap wall mount. Now, that's not much of a shock to everybody here. We've had the no gap wall mounts on our consumer TVs for a few years now. We put it now in the commercial chassis so you can flatten that sucker all the way up against the wall. And you'll notice we're using the frame bezels now. So you can actually snap those on for the look. And it is, yes, the exact same bezels for the frame. They're not a distinct part. It's the same part numbers. So nobody has to ask what those are. Those are all pretty obviously there. The even bezels thing was really important. The bottom bezel on our older displays is usually a bit thicker because of electronics and cooling. That's gone. You also don't have the bump where the Samsung logo is and where the IR and the button are. That doesn't happen on the commercial displays. We do that for one, portrait mode, like you see there on the screen, but also when you tile them, we don't have to do that thing where you got to flip the top display upside down. We can't even do that on the commercial displays. There's an inverse, horizontal inverse for using them as teleprompters or for virtual backgrounds for production, but no vertical flip. We don't need that function anymore. So it makes it really easy, and that's going to hold true on all the sizes. Yes, everybody should be familiar with this. I do actually have this in here for the people who aren't used to the frame TVs. That happens. Exact same options are available. Centered VESA pattern. Now, I know there's a few of you out there going, really? That's a big deal? Yes. For commercial applications, having that VESA pattern down towards the bottom of the screen, I mean, it's a pain for any kind of install. But when you're trying to rotate them into portrait, it's miserable, or you're trying to get a unified strip of displays. I was helping a guy with menu boards earlier today. It's a pain. So now we have absolutely dead centered VESA patterns. That's going to stay. Auto leveling is very cool as well. We've got a gyro in these screens. So when you rotate them to portrait, they'll know they're rotated and automatically flip their menus. They will also tell you if you installed them backwards, because yes, you can only install them rotated one way. And if you try to flip them the other way, it'll just give you a big error telling you to basically take it off the mount and put it right way around. Also, it'll give you an on-screen level option so that you can adjust so that you don't have to stick a bubble level on top of it or a laser level. It will tell you when it's level. We do have the smart calibration like our consumer sets have had for a while. Just take your favorite Samsung phone. Of course, I have a Galaxy, and you can calibrate them. The other big thing that you're going to see difference in is some of our software. We have that VXT CMS. Tizen Zero Config or Tizen Business Manager is another really important one. It's free, great price, everybody likes that. But basically, this is here to help anyone installing a larger number of these screens. You build a configuration in the platform. You scan the barcode on the display's box, adding it to that Tizen Business Manager account, and it downloads the configuration. So the minute that you go and you unpack it, you install it, you get rid of that. Well, you don't have to listen to Over the Horizon. That's actually the name of our theme song, in case that stupid sing-songy song you hear every time you turn a TV on out of the box, that's called Over the Horizon. I'm sick of it too. I've been with Samsung 23 years. I'm really sick of it. You can just literally turn it on, get it on the internet. It'll download the config for you. Huge thing. Love that. Makes it really, really easy. Also, then if a customer is installing signage software, we can make that part of that process. Massively easier way to approach things, totally free. So we do still have video wall displays. DV-LED, I could spend a whole hour on just on itself, but we do still have video wall displays. It's a really simplified lineup, okay? We got 3 options, 2 sizes. They're basically identical except for bezel. So we still have the VMB-U series, 46 and 55. This is our only 46-inch video wall option. So anything in the video wall line starts with V, is going to have ultra narrow bezels. It's going to have daisy chaining with DisplayPort to allow you to create one large image out of any 16:9 configuration up to 5x5, 2x2, 3x3, 4x4, 5x5. Not 3x1, not 2x6. You have to be even numbers. But you can daisy chain it, feed one 4K input in, you end up with one display. No external processing necessary. We do have calibration for color management and mapping. We offer a free utility for that called Color Expert. There's one that can use your phone, at least if you have a Samsung, sorry, iPhone fans, or there is a PC-based tool for brightness and color matching. So the only thing that's going to change between the series is bezel size and brightness. These are all 24/7 rated. The VM-B-U 4655, these guys are 3.5 millimeter bezel to bezel. This is our thickest bezel. And when I say bezel to bezel, I mean from one lit pixel to another. So that's 2 displays together. That's not one display. So the bezel is actually 1.2 millimeters or 2.3 millimeters. They're a little thicker on the top and the left than the bottom and the right because that's where we wrap the cables. So they have to be. So 3.5 millimeters total, 500 nits. We go up one level. We go to the VHC-E. We only have a 55 VH55C-E, but 1.7 millimeters bezel to bezel. So we're now at like half, and 700 nits. So a little bit brighter, but we are going up by a decent amount of cost. And then our flagship, the VH55C-R, this is a 0.8 millimeter bezel to bezel product. We cannot physically make it thinner. At that point, the cost is going to be so astronomical, buy a DV-LED instead. And these are also going to be 700 nits. They all share the same features, same capabilities, so I don't... Terrace Pro. Everybody knows the Terrace. We have a Pro version. We do not have a full sun commercial Terrace. This is the partial sun version of the Terrace, 55, 65, 75, but it is a business TV. It was made for exactly what you see here. Let's slap it outside by the pool at a hotel, or let's use it as an outdoor TV for a bar. This is just a commercial grade version. It does have that business TV app for very simple signage, but it did also keep the HD base T input and the TV tuner. So everybody should already be familiar with this screen. We have another weird line here. We call this semi-outdoor. The heck does that mean? Our OM series is window facing. It was made to go in a window facing the street. They're hardened against ultraviolet, so the plastics don't degrade. So like that, they're similar to the Terrace. They're also ridiculously bright. These guys are 4,000 nits, 24/7 rated, but there is no moisture rating. They must be indoors, protected from the environment. They're just designed to be viewed from the street. We can do landscape and portrait. The 55 is our most popular. In fact, so much so, we have a dual-sided version of that, but we do also have a 75 and the dual-sided 55. And yes, that is as slick as it looks. They are one 3,500, 3,000 nit screen, one 1,500 nit screen, or excuse me, 1,000 nit screen. I always screw that up on the back. And it is portrait only, but all the inputs are along the top. But you have two full displays with separate inputs, separate signage players. They do require a little bit of specialized mounting because the mounting is along the sides. There's no VESA because where do you put it? In the middle of the other screen? Yeah. So very, very cool. But again, these are made for indoor high sunlight use, like facing a store window. They are not outdoor rated. We do have a full heavy outdoor rated screen. I jokingly call these the tanks because you can take a baseball bat to them and they will survive. The OH series. If you drive through, this is definitely not judging anybody's fast food choices, but if you drive through and you order off a digital outdoor screen, it's one of these, like 90%. It's one of these. We have 24, 46, 55, and 75-inch versions. 3,500 nits, IK10 armor glass, solid steel enclosures. They weigh a metric ton. 75 is like 300 pounds. They are incredibly heavy, but they are incredibly durable. Active cooled, they do have fans, but anti-graffiti coated, scratch resistant, and then they have all of the features of our indoor screens, but they're IP56 rated. So these guys are absolutely fantastic for heavy duty outdoor. Just be prepared. If you're used to the pricing of the Terrace, these are a little bit more expensive. And by a little bit, I mean, it's notable, but when you need one, there's no avoiding it. This is what you use.
Hey, Jonathan,
let's a whole line of interactive products.
I could do. Jonathan, we'll take a quick pause here, answer some questions, as we have a lot. If you don't mind, we'll keep going.
Of course. Let me pull the Q&A up so you don't have to field all of them.
Yeah, I mean, we just have a lot. So make sure we get through some of these, and we'll do the.
Absolutely. No, that's perfect. Thank you, Mark. Okay.
Let's see here. What was the bezel be to be on the VH55C-E?
C-E is 1.77 millimeters.
We'll get to these quickly. Are there plans for a full sun Terrace Pro? I don't know if you know the answer to that.
Yes, that will be next year, Q2. So expect that in the March timeframe. We did announce that internally.
Can you calibrate with non-Samsung phone? I don't know if this is
not with our app, but you are always welcome to use any other calibration tools. I've played with some third-party ones on my phone, but our apps are unfortunately Samsung phones only. It's the same as the consumer TV app. Gotcha. We are looking at maybe doing an iPhone version,
though. Let's see. How does the QET series ensure top picture quality and color accuracy?
So, I mean, that's going to be the same answer for any of Samsung's displays. So there's so much of the same glass that gets used. These are all deep crystal panels. So they are using the quantum dot backlighting technology. They're all HDR10 plus. So you're going to get that same wider color gamut. They're not QLED panels. We do have a couple of QLEDs. The 8K and the Terrace Pro are QLED, but otherwise these are going to be our standard deep crystal LCD panels.
Let's do just two more. How do Samsung's commercial TVs maintain high display quality and durability for continuous operation, especially in harsh environments?
Yeah, that's a great question. So that's where the IP5X rating comes in. Our screens are rated against dust. They're not rated against moisture for the indoor screens, but that's sufficient. They are rated for a minimum of 16 hours a day use, and that is 16 hours a day at like full brightness. And they are warranted 3 years on-site parts and labor, extendable up to 5 years. And we do offer extended warranty options in terms of advanced replacement or white glove service as well. So these things are absolutely bulletproof. And the honest truth is I've got a screen that I've still got in my lab that I received from Samsung as a sample in 2011, and it's still running and it still is good. and they are rated for 100,000 hours of operational lifetime, 24/7. That's 8 years. So these guys are made to last. A little bit different animal than what you might be used to with the consumer product.
Very good. Video walls, only 55-inch panels. Is it 55-inch for video walls?
We mostly 55. We have that 146-inch model in a 3.5 millimeter bezel. That was the least popular size, so it really was trimmed down. We used to have a much broader portfolio because honestly, I think we all see it, the transition is already happening over to direct view LED.
Very good. And then a question on IP controls. Does IP control work? So
yeah, oh yeah. So this is completely different than the consumer TVs. We have a completely open IP control policy for these. I can give anybody the hex codes. I mean, if you want it just to read it, it's a 300-page document. It's better than Xanax if you're having trouble sleeping. I promise it'll help you knock your ride out. But we are completely open. We don't require an NDA. It's the same hex for RS-232 or IP. And so we are very open for that. We don't have a lot of pre-built drivers the same way you might be used to with the consumer sets, but that's because companies like Crestron have done their own drivers, and we have a lot broader options for control. We also do fully support CEC as well.
Alex, I believe you asked that. So if that's something you want, just let us know. We'll get that over to you. And let's see here. Harold J., you won the sound tower, so congratulations. I'll send you my contact information to get out to you. Go ahead, Jonathan. Thank you.
Nice. Awesome. My pleasure, Mark. All right, guys. We're coming down to the end of it. Don't worry. I'm going to end on time so we can field more of those questions. Interactive products, by the way, there's like so much more in each one of these product verticals we could get into, talking about signage, talking about the interactive products, talking about LED. We aren't even getting into LED today. There's so much more we can cover in one 45-minute session. So I'm more than happy to provide more information. I'll make sure my contact info is up at the end. That is literally what my team is here to do. We work with any Samsung reseller on the commercial products to help provide engineering support and training. I've worked with Samsung for 23 years, for those of you I have not met before. So we are here as an additional resource for you provided by Samsung. So we're more than happy to help with more info. Okay, interactive. I'm going to keep this simple. We have our QM-T, T for touch, 32, 43, 55. Those are it. These are just QM series monitors. They're just standard LCD monitors that have a touch overlay from the factory. What a lot of our partners choose to do is use TSI touch overlays. We've officially partnered with them. They make overlays for pretty much everything, including our outdoor screens, and can customize a lot of things, IR to PCAP, customizing the bezels, things like that. These are all PCAP touch. So these are great options for interactive signage. Now, where it gets a little more fun is we have a full line of digital whiteboards as well. We have both our Flip product, the Flip 4, Flip Pro, the WMB, 55, 65, 75, 85, fully self-contained digital whiteboard, no extra computing needed. These do run our Tizen OS, and they do have Miracast and AirPlay. This is the only line, the interactive ones that have AirPlay at the moment. So they're very high performance, great integrated screens. But we also did, and this is something that's happened since last year's Roadshow, so I get to share it with everybody. We have a full line of Android whiteboards as well. So if you like our Android experience in the portable devices, that's an 86-inch Samsung tablet you're looking at there. These are very heavily focused towards education, but they are outstanding for all manner of different applications. These are Google certified also. So we have the full Google Play Store. This is not a janky implementation of Android. 65, 75, and 86-inch models. We do have OPS slots, but very high performance touch, high performance system on chip. These guys are made to be very, very high-end whiteboards. And the beautiful part is, throw into a conference room, I can run Teams or Zoom or Ring Central or whatever I want right on that, connect my conferencing peripherals directly. Great options for them. Really, really outstanding. So full line of interactive. Why do we have two different ones? The Flip or the Tizen whiteboards are very simple. Closed ecosystem, appliances, grab the pen. It's a much simpler to pick up and work with system. The Android products are much more feature rich and flexible. And so they allow us to provide a lot more solutions. Like one of the things we have upcoming is a full free AI tool for instructors for automatic note creation, lecture creation, all kinds of stuff. Like feed it my notes and it'll build me slides. Let it record my class and it'll create notes for me, things like that. So we got a really impressive suite of features, but much more complex than it is Android. So it's a good balance between the two. So we do offer both. Now, some specialty display products as we get into the last couple of sections, and then we'll get back to Q&A. We do have a kiosk. Now, I will warn everybody, these things look incredible, and we are all in one, easy for me to say, on the hardware. So when these ship, it ships like you see it there. It is the 24-inch portrait mode screen. It is what we call the connection box. That is the big kind of junk on the back end of that. That contains a receipt printer, a barcode and QR code scanner, an NFC and smart card reader, and a spot to mount a payment gateway sled. It does not include the payment gateway. And we have both a Tizen and a Windows version of these. These don't include any of like the super point of sale software. So that is still completely separate. We are providing the hardware solutions. We still rely on partners for any of that other software. Like one of the ones you'll see on LinkedIn a lot. We have a partner called Grubber that does a lot of self-service ordering and point of sale integration with us for this device. So do keep in mind, there is a little bit more to this when you're getting into this type of product. But we do have that. We do also make some small size specialty screens. We have a 13-inch version of our QB. It's hard to do that for scale on the slide. They're really small. It's a 13-inch screen. We have it in touch and non-touch, full system on chip. So these guys are great for like retail signage, which is what they were originally built for. But we do even see them being used for things like meeting room scheduling, working with our VXT product. So very flexible. We also have a 24-inch version in touch and non-touch. So we do have those options. And then we do have our ultra wide stretch. This one was really interesting because we genuinely thought it was going to be used like you see there, more for wayfinding and transport. And to be honest, it's being used much more in retail. It does have, and it's sometimes hard to see from this photo, a slimmer bezel on the side. It's still going to be about a 10-millimeter gap between the two screens, but that's better than a regular screen like the one you see behind me. So they were made to build strips out of. 24/7 rated, 700 nits. They have a full signage player, but these guys are 32 by 9, or excuse me, 21 by 9. I always screw that up. 1920 by 540 resolution. So really unusual little display. I wanted to make sure I had as much time as possible for Q&A once I saw the amount of questions coming in. But here is all of our contact information. So my team helps provide support in two ways. We are the senior consultants for the commercial group at Samsung, myself and Brian Kosich, my engineering services manager. We're here to be points of contact for you all. For any questions you have about them, don't ask me, is it in stock or what does it cost? We'll send you the team here for that, but I'm here to help with any product questions. We have a 1-800 number, email hotlines, and then Anthony, some of you may have interfaced with him. He is the head of our consumer relationship with Samsung, where we do provide engineering support for CETV products, but we also are the control partner liaisons for the CETV product from Samsung to all of their control partners out there. Anthony's the one that's helping maintain the Platinum Partner Portal as well. So we're doing a lot of that type of stuff. So if you've got a drawing recently, Anthony did that. We're here to help you any way we can assist. And I'll leave that there, and I'm happy to field questions.
Yeah, John, why don't you, thank you, by the way. It's always super informative whenever you do these. Do me a favor, go down the Q&A real quick. Let's make sure we cover these together.
Yeah.
I'm going to start from the top here. What's the process for remote portal access for these displays?
Ooh, good question. So we do have remote access into the displays using our VXT platform. So it does require a subscription. It's not a totally free tool, but you can actually fully remote control the screen through that. And we do have a remote management only version of VXT at a lower cost than the full signage player. I can happily provide more information about that. And then obviously we do have IP, RS-232, CEC, and IR control. I know that there have been some commercial products in the past that have like a web portal where you can just go to the screen's IP address and you'll have a web page with settings. We don't really do that, but we've also got a free tool you can use called MDC, which lets you control multiple screens over the network. So we've got a few different options for that one.
Let's go up and scroll down here. What are we missing here? The video wall 5-inch panels, IP control. Let's keep going. Uh, let's see. I do Samsung course sheets in meeting. We already answered that. Just want to make sure we got everybody's.
Oh, yes. I do note, I'm going to call it out. We did get a comment about the BED series does not have audio out. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not happy about that either. The optical audio out was removed because the consumer sets lost the optical audio out. I don't like it. It is very frustrating. Our headquarters response has been just to use the HDMI output and use something like ARC and extract it. That's a pain. I'm not any happier about it, but it is something everybody does need to be aware of. It is a big change. So yes, thank you for whoever called that out.
Well, let's play a game then. Let's give away another sound tower. What do you think? Why don't
Nice.
you go through, think of an important thing that you said, and it was a lot of information. Give us a quiz question that we could have everybody answer, and then we'll pick one. We'll see who's the winner.
Oh, you got
A
me
good
on
one.
that one. Let's see here. I'm trying to think
So
of a really good product question. I'm not going to do a trick question. I hate doing that to people.
That'll be good. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of something I didn't that I touched on quickly that'd be really important. Sorry, you got me on the spot there, Mark. I was planning to have to write a quiz question on the fly.
We could go through like let's see, BED series. We already answered this. What was the V series that was dumb, and why would you use it?
Oh, there you go. That's a good one. Well, which display series was the dumb one, and why would you use it?
Yeah, somebody asked that, so maybe we should use that.
I like that. That's a good one.
The answer is C. Let's see
The
how
answer
many.
is C. It's multiple choice. That's a good one.
Multiple choice. Yeah, there's a few second delay, so we'll see what.
All of the above. Okay.
Yeah.
I love it when everybody's got a great sense of humor.
Right.
Oh, we're getting a lot of people are close. Yes, government is absolutely the why. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember the series?
Yeah.
Seen a couple people mention it's not the BE.
No. Somebody's just listing all of them. When in doubt, just list.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, just shoot your shot. Go with the. You guys are making this way more fun than I thought. This is great. Yeah, the Dash N. Yeah, that's the one that is made for government. That's the one that lacks. That's the QB series that lacks wireless, but it's not the dumb one. That one has the full system on chip.
Series QM.
Somebody mentioned it, but they were just listing off everything. They did catch it.
Oh, was it one that somebody mentioned all of them? Was it in that one?
Yep.
Ah, okay. N series. QM. QB.
Everybody's dancing around it.
This is what a great question.
It is the QH series. You guys are getting close. Oh, come on, somebody's got to get it. I got stuff to give away. See, I'm not eligible. I don't. Can I phone a friend? Yes, but not me.
It was in the response I see up above from Sean. So I don't know if we're going to count that or not, right?
I mean, nobody else guesses it.
One of the four, Sean Jarrett said.
Huh? You say it?
I mean, he listed four of them, but it's one of them.
It is.
QB.
Yeah, it's not going to be one of the ones that has the full system on chip. because that's going to have all the smart functions. That's going to have the ability to run signage apps.
Can we go to 50-50? Phone a friend. QH.
This is a good. We're stumping the audience. That was a great question.
QC.
It's the one that doesn't seem to make much sense because we got the BE series and we got the more advanced ones, and it sits right in the middle, and nobody can figure out what we use that product for. I still wonder why the line exists, and then I always explain that it's the dumb TV.
So is it not the QE?
Wait, I think we got one. It's in the series. Yep. I think we got Seth here. Is it not the QE?
Seth?
Yes, it is the QE series.
But he said
the QE is the dumb one, with the exception of the QE98C, which unfortunately they put brains in for some reason.
Okay, so who is it? Seth?
Yes, that looks like it was
Is it
correct.
not the QE?
It's not the QE. Yes, it was.
He said, "Is it not the QE though?" But he's right. Okay. All right, Seth.
Whoever said QE first, if I missed that, I apologize. I was laughing at the.
Also,
whoever said QE first.
Jonathan, for what it's worth, Seth brought up the no audio outputs, which I think is extremely valuable for all of our dealers to know. Had a dealer on a job site recently and had to kind of find out on accident, and we had to scramble to get some arc breakout. So
yeah, and by the way, anybody who runs into challenges with that, shoot me a note. My email is on the screen. Yes, you out there. Send me an email because I will pass that to my leadership, because the only way we're going to convince the factory to change things is if we get pain point information back from you, our customers. So please, by all means, I know I'm inviting a deluge of emails, but when you have a problem like that, I can't personally change it, but I want to make sure we're providing that feedback so maybe we can get that changed, because I agree with you. It's frustrating.
Let's see here. Okay, so let me go like this. Email me. Sorry, I'm stopping this during the training. Okay, so thank you so much, Jonathan. Really appreciate it. Great information.
Pleasure.
We're going to have this also recorded so everybody can view after the fact. We're going to get those prizes out. It's always a pleasure having you, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate all you taking the time. I know how busy everybody is, especially in this industry. You know, I've been with another partner all week, and this is my first day back in the office, and I know how crazy it gets. So I really appreciate it. Thank you to all of you out in the audience who wanted to learn more about the commercial products. If you have any support you need, let me and my team know, and we're here for you. We want to help enable your success with any commercial project.
Thanks so much, Jonathan. We will see everybody in about 12 minutes.